Given the activities and what has been happening, of course, with Project X, which is where we're going to start, watoto wanasoma kweli?
Maybe there's a grade called X now. And talking about Project X, well, it's
why XY.
XY. We know guys who get S. Now we have projects like X. Serious stuff. But talking about showbiz and what's been happening, I think it's a big story in town. Since it was it broke over the weekend. Last weekend.
I think it was last weekend. When it was supposed to be happening. I'm not sure.
No,
it was supposed to be happening this weekend.
It's tomorrow's show.
It's tomorrow.
It's tomorrow's show.
Okay.
But the posters were out on Friday night, thereabout, and more kept on coming out on Saturday, and that's where when the alarm was raised that there's something going on. And now, what was alarming was where the contents of the posters and what they try to insinuate that a lot would be happening, and you see the headline in Pulse and a lot of stuff more in the Nairobian. And I think the talking point would be at this point really, are kids seriously, and did we misunderstand what that was supposed to be? Because when you think of Project X, you're just thinking about the movie that was out in 2012, was it?
Yes.
And what it was all about and how it influenced kids in America to have excuses on, we are doing this because we saw it in a movie, and there was a lot of chaos about what did this movie bring into the world. But now we are in Kenya, Project X, and Mutua talking and speaking fire, speaking a lot of stuff.
He was actually here.
Yes. He was here, and Betty was basically asking him a few questions, and of course he came out saying that it's not going to happen. Apparently, there were even arrests that may have been made. But what was also interesting to me that I spoke to a family who have young children, and the parents were in shock at what was going on, but the children were like, but this is nothing new.
Well, the parents are always really clueless. Kenyan parents are the most interesting parents. They have, I think, WhatsApp groups for everything except for parenting, which I think is probably the WhatsApp group they need to begin with. Project X is not new. OGs are not new. Children behaving badly are not new. I think the only difference this time was that it was really idolized and made to look like one of those things. In fact, every time I saw that Project X and I saw Kileleshwa, I was just like, first of all, come on, it cannot even be Kileleshwa, because they can't tell you the address of where they're going to misbehave or where somebody's going to
so
be.
That was like throwing off everybody.
It's a game, by the way. It's one of those games where you're told, come, you find this, then you move on to this, and then it's actually supposed to be fun. Of course, if you have an underage child and they're going into it, then it's not good for you. But if they are of age, then I think they have a choice. They can decide whether they want to go and do that or not. So for me, I just think that sometimes we are too uptight, and then we want to put together everybody in one basket, and we do not want other people to be different.
Solo, your take on Project X. I mean, by all means and standards, majority of Kenyans were shocked, and it's true that you, the fact that if you're of age, you can choose what you want to do. But now the target audience for this particular session seems to have been very young adults.
Well, it's
and
true.
Even teenagers.
It's true, it's been happening, and especially for teenagers. I mean, it's we've seen videos before. There's another video that was banned about 2 years ago, which was idolizing smoking marijuana and having such parties. I had one of a local university here who was even stripped of her title because of
participating in
appearance. But I mean, I think a lot of Kenyans are still in the dark. They don't know what really is happening. A lot of parents as well don't know what is happening out there. Project X is something that has been happening, even WhatsApp groups. It's only that this time around they made it public. And they put up a poster. They normally just invite each other, like, you know, this Saturday we're going for Project X at Naivasha, and be there for blah blah. It's something that is known. You carry on.
I remember there's a time that there's a video that was doing rounds, and again, I don't know whether it is parents pretending to be surprised, because this one was to do with pool parties. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah.
It was similar to this. It's just that now that was a pool party that takes time during the day, and this possibly will be at night and on a weekend.
You're right, and probably some people out there don't know what we are talking about. When you say Projects X, people in Makueni have never
Your people.
You'll be surprised.
They have their own version.
We're talking about a party where you're talking about the rules of the game are come with as less clothes as possible. You're allowed to smoke whatever you want.
Yeah.
Drink whatever you want.
On this poster, I saw one
whatever
of the
you want.
games apparently that is supposed to be played.
Yes.
Is being called Taxi.
Exactly.
Where I think, reading from the details, I think you smoke and hold a joint and then pass it to the
Taxing
next
is
Exactly.
How
a
does it
miracle.
work?
It's a game.
And that's what Solo is saying. It's not a new thing, and that's what, if we break the rules now, I know we just still on hot topics, and this is Pulse and Nairobi and big stories today. Once you break it down and go down to the nitty-gritties about parties that have been happening in Nairobi, and it's well captured in today's papers. It's not something new. It's a pool of friends. I can decide, Solo and I, we organize it for Mike and you to call your friends to come and have a house party. And we are close friends and bring more friends. Friends who would be, two like girls, other influencers. And from there we make a little money, little money. But some people, I would tell you, would come to that place very innocent. You're just thinking I'm coming to a house party. For example, the way you have a birthday party. But the activities that are happening in that place are very questionable. I've been duped to a place like that before, and that's how we know these stories actually used.
So when you're going for the party, you actually don't know what is.
No. What happens is anything goes. I don't think we go to a party expecting to come out with a certificate. To a party. Well, the problem here is that there's also, they're idolizing the use of drugs and stuff like that, and probably a lot of promiscuity and stuff. But these are things that happen. Anyone who goes there, hopefully, let's say they're above 18 years old and they already know what is happening. The only problem is that there's influence that can actually cause you to stray a little bit. But it's just a random house party where people say, let's get wild. That is the most
I think
why are we shocked? And every time we have out of town trips, these things happen.
This thing happen, exactly.
It's the same things that happen every time people have a show out of town and they go in masses, and then we hear, there was so much drama, people are romping.
So the question would be, why is this such a big issue? And yet we know, I've already mentioned the we know that there was the Masaku Sevens that went south. Okay, now it has, I think the last one or two were cleaned up. But there is the infamous one that literally, Twitter went mad. So it looks like these things do actually happen. It's just now a matter of choice. But
and let me tell you what happens now. This time round is going to be bigger and crazier. That it has been banned.
No, this project
exactly, because let me tell you, all those people who have the tickets have the numbers, they know the contacts of people they can talk to, and they're gonna create something else. That is for sure.
How we sure didn't even happen last night?
It's gonna happen.
We probably are gonna get our sources to tell us this thing already happened. But here's the thing for me. I think we cannot shield let's say younger people from certain things, especially if they're happening. It would be nice to live in a bubble and say that things are good and calm, but that's not the truth. If they're 18 and they want to be able to do certain things, trust me, experience is the only teacher.
Mike?
But now the thing is, for me, my concern is as a society. What does that speak about us? And are we saying that we are agreeing that, okay, it's fine? As much as everybody has a choice after a certain age. Once you're an adult,
it's a party.
Well, society does not say that it's good. It does not say that it's allowed. In fact, it should not be. But there's a stage in life when kids have to do what they have to do to learn.
Mike,
okay, we could have been of a different school, like she said, like we just live in a bubble and say like everything
will be fine. Let's all do this.
No. But the truth is, kids out there, if they're not cautioned, they're gonna want to try do drugs,
and
because when they see it out there, it looks cool, and all kids want to look cool. They're looking at
love to hear what everybody at home has to say. Please do let us know. Leave and open up the phone lines for this, because honestly, I'm getting to a point where I'm thinking, how can we even be discussing this as if it's okay?
No, it's not okay.
It is not okay.
Mike, it's not okay, and nobody says it's okay.
Yeah.
But again, and this is now serious. When parents are from yesteryears and are 20 years behind the party seat, for example, and you think the way you used to do things is the same way kids are doing things.
No.
And you are so ignorant to the point whereby when your girl or your boy says, I'm going for a party with my friends, and you even know what friends she is or he is going out with, you think it's the old thing that used to happen.
It's not.
I think parents should be schooled.
It's not.
I think it's parents now who need
Parents
schooling,
need to be schooled.
so that they know how to tackle their kids.
No. We are organizing something for parents soon.
No, actually, and we
Kids are hiring
Project
a bus.
P.
They're hiring a bus, a funky bus.
Yes.
Doing drugs in there, doing orgies in there. What do you expect when they leave, when they're 18 and above?
And Mike,
what do they do?
Mutua.
Because they remember.
Mutua can ban Kilelesho and all that.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, even other crazy parties that are happening. Like so, we said when kids hire the bus, and they're just on the road.
It's a cool bus. Road trip.
And a road trip.
And all you need to do is fill the bus and
there's no destination. The destination is the bus.
And there are no boundaries.
And that's all.
Within the bus.
Within the bus.
How do you get that now?
So people smoke weed. If you're cool, I give you a joint. If you say no, then I'm like, why did he even come?
Cool.
And of course there's peer pressure.
There's a lot of peer pressure, and these things is happening.
Wait, so the bus parties, if I can call them that, are already in existence?
Those ones are for kids. Those are for kids. Those are for
3
kids.
days on.
Those are for.
I don't know what you guys at home have to say. Are we getting to a point where we're saying this is okay, we are fine with this and we can let it roll, it's okay, let's go on with Project X kind of parties? And the truth of the matter from what I'm hearing here is that it's already happening. Yes. And like I mentioned in one of the opening statements was, I know a family who have teenagers and the parents were in shock when they saw this happened. But the teenagers were like, but mom, you guys, these things happen. What's wrong with you guys?
Before she calls for the parents meeting, teachers meeting, Project P. One thing they have to know again, some of these guys who are targeted, you don't expect guys from down where I came from to have such parties. But what I'm saying is that these parties target kids from very rich families. And that's why there's a mention of Kilelesho, as much as probably that's not the place they're meeting. And the danger is, again, from the story that we have, is these parties are not just having the ordinary man going. You are having the guys with money. And you're involving businessmen also who say, oh, let's go and see the little ones.
Yes.
We have an excuse.
Yeah, because we have that as well.
And beyond that, there's a talk of now pornography material, because in that situation, you don't know who you are or you are with.
You're under influence.
Sometimes they'll be recorded.
Yes.
So what happens to your kids when they wake up one day, 3 months later, you are already pornographic
You're now
material,
starring in something.
And that's the new danger, that even as the young people will think Project X, this is a cool thing. What are you getting?
And what's really worrying, let me add on to what he is saying. The other day, actually, one of the nice places, nice clubs, actually has a night that is called Tag a Sponsor. So how is that tagging a sponsor okay? And then this there is a
TAG a sponsor.
Yes.
So you bring a sponsor.
Yes.
No, you are going there to find a sponsor.
Yes.
It's actually there.
Okay.
And
exchange.
Yes. By the way, and how we discuss this and we do not discuss that other thing. We as a society.
It's also happening. It's also happening to grown-ups.
Yes. They are tagging a sponsor. They are arriving.
It's also happening to grown-ups. We don't want to accept it.
And maybe that's why the parents are in shock, because they think they have tagged a sponsor which is happening for them, and it's okay, but here you are leaving your children at home, and they're getting busy in buses on road trips.
Yes, because they cannot get a house.
And
imagine the driver is cooperating. If you give the driver is the one you're going to send for the alcohol. He's going to bring you a few joints as well. You understand? So let us not act like we are really so surprised that it is happening. Let us look at ways of which we can say, how can this be controlled, or what should we do?
Wow.
Or how do we have the parties and have them better?
Well, you cannot tell people what to do in a party.
Better is relative.
You cannot
because according to this youth, or according to this group, Because it's not just youth. We've got adults who are involved as well.
Yes.
Better for them maybe is wilder.
Yes.
But does
exactly.
that necessarily
Anytime there's a wild party, people talk about it, and people want to be part of it the next time. That is guaranteed.
Let me ask.
If I go to Steven's house and we're all quiet and he has a neighbor who keeps saying, "Put the music down," we'll be like, "Yo, your place is not the best place." We'll be like, no, it's
right.
It's.
Let me ask again. We try to demonize everything that's happening with Project X, and everybody's wild about